Good morning, viewers. My name is Julius Onechojon. I'm your anchor person on the program African People. African People is a weekly program on URTV where we attempt to estray the cultural background of different ethnic nationalities in Africa. In the earlier part of the program, we have already discussed the Igala people of Kogi State, and today we are going to look at the Bassa Nge people of Bassa local government area in Kogi State. Our guest on this program this morning is a journalist, a political analyst, and a man that is grounded in the culture and tradition of his people. Keeping you in suspense, I'm going off studio to meet with our guest out of the studio on audio so that we can hear from him what he will have to tell us about the Bassa Nge people. Keep it there with us.
Okay, good morning, viewers. Thank you for having me. My name is Jacob Edi. And since we are talking about Bassa Nge, I saw that you are pronouncing the name with some difficulties. Bassa Nge. It's just easy, it's just simple. I'm a Bassa Nge man. I'm from Adumwaiwo. Adumwaiwo is one of the villages of Bassa land. Adumwaiwo is actually the cradle of Bassa Nge civilization. But we'll get to that as we continue to talk.
Who is a Bassa Nge person?
A Bassa Nge person is, first of all, that person who is born by Bassa Nge parents.
Then who are the Bassa Nge people?
Bassa Nge people are those people that over 200 years ago or so, I'm not very exact about the date, moved from a place somewhere in Niger State, present day Niger State, and settled in present day Kogi State. It was a long journey. The Bassa Nge people are a breakaway republic of the old Nupe kingdom who came as a result of war and got to a place where they say Basa Nge. This place is good and beautiful. This is the origin of the name, Basa Nge. However, there are different traditions about the name Basa Nge. Some traditions have it that when the Europeans came around the where is presently Bassa Nge domain, they met another tribe. I mean, with the Bassa Nges. Now, that other tribe has stuff like Okomu, Okwada. Bassa Nge have Nge, meaning I say. So the Europeans now, for purposes of convenience, said, okay, these people should be called Bassa Nge because of that Nge. These other ones should be called Bassa Komu. This tradition will fall flat on logic because it will presuppose that these people had no name before the Europeans came. But in history is told from the point of view of the teller. The source may not be very authentic. But what I tell you today is authentic. I'm a Bassa Nge man, and I know the history of my people.
Okay. At the arrival of Bassa Nge people in the present day Bassa, did they meet any people there?
Of course.
Were there other inhabitants there?
Of course. History has it that they met other ethnic groups around there, predominantly the Igalas. That is where the Bassa Nges are right now. And this is from down. The Bassa Nge, they start living from the bank of River Benue after Shintaku. They stretch up to Bobe, up to Echeu, and all those places. Now, history has it that the Igalas some Igalas actually lived around these places. But when the Mauredin Bassa Nge warriors were coming, the Igalas felt threatened and took off. So this made them to leave. They left that place they went up like present day Dekinana, where you have a lot of Igalas. So the Bassa Nges occupied that land that the Igalas left from. So it wasn't a land that was fallow. But when the Bassa Nges got there and they saw the topography, they saw the environment, everything was good, and they say Basa Nge. This place is beautiful and good. Ge now was said in Nupe tongue. What a Bassa would have said is Basa Nge. Now there's a difference between spoken Nupe and spoken Bassa Nge. You understand my point? Bassa Nge is tonal, it's largely tonal. Nupe is nasal. A Nupe man will tell you me ebie, meaning I'm coming. Bassa Nge tells you mbe, the same thing. A Bassa Nge man is going home, say me dame. Nupe man tells you me a dami. So it is nasal and this is tonal. This is the difference. We speak a language that is we are dialectically similar, culturally similar. The Bible the Bassa Nges use today is actually the Nupe Bible. The Bassa Nge people have not been able to develop even their own Bible. But of course, there is a difference. Because the Nupes are in majority, it is easy and more convenient that when the Nupe man is speaking, the Bassa Nge man can pick. It's not so much like that when a Bassa man is speaking, but Nupe will always know that this is my brother because of the similarity in the languages spoken.
Between the Como and the Nge, do you have anything in common?
You see, I keep wondering why we even got that close because there is no dialectical or cultural similarity between the Basanges and the Basakomus or the Basas. Now they even go by the name Basa, but we know them as Basakomu. There's no similarity in the languages. I mean, what the two tribes
But do you
talk.
understand each other when you speak?
No,
If they speak, do you understand? Or if you speak, do they
if
understand
you have
you?
lived around the place, you know that this language spoken is Basakomu. But it's not because it is similar. It is because you have lived with them and know that, okay, this is how they talk. There's no similarity
Okay.
fundamentally.
Apart from Bassa local government that shares boundary with the Dikina local government, do you have Bassa Nge in other part of Nigeria?
Yes, you have Basanges in Lokoja. If you come to Lokoja and you hear about Adankolo, what they call Adankolo is actually Adankolo. This is the Basanget. You can see that it is different. If a Basaman is telling you about Adankolo, he will tell you, Nulo Adankolo. Yes, if you come to Adankolo, predominantly inhabitants of Adankolo are Basanges because we are fishermen and farmers. Adankolo is very close to River Niger. So our forefathers have lived around that place because of the fishing business and every other business around the riverine area. Our people are farmers. If you come to Basaland, you see that they farm rice, they farm cassava. Some places yam, not so much, but cassava and rice, beans, they are predominantly some of the crops you find around our places. Then you find cashew in some places. By the way, I must tell you that our land is very fertile, very, very fertile for the crops that are good on our soil. And you have rice, you have cashew, we have cashew a lot. In fact, in Adumwewo, that is my village, you see a wide expanse of land. They are just cashew. You get my point. So our people are into rice farming. They farm cassava, they farm yam, and then they also do fishing and hunting. Some of them hunting. If you come to places like Adumwewo, like Elule, these are places where hunting is possible because of the environmental condition. You have lot of big grasses,
Now that
almost
you
forest.
now that you're talking about farming, hunting, and all of this, there's a particular tradition about the Bassa people that a lot of us have wondered and will want to know about.
What is
Tell
it?
us about the concept of carrying load in a calabash and on the back instead of on the head.
No, the Basanges don't put load on their shoulder. They
Good.
put their load on the head.
Okay.
But the Basakomos put their load on the shoulder, just like the Gwaris or the Bagis. But Basangeman, they don't do that. Our tradition is largely as the Nupe tradition is. But carrying load here, no. But when we have festivities, cultural festivities, we have our dance, we have our attire, we have our masquerades, and all of that. Like most tribes in even within Africa.
Now, to an outsider, how do we differentiate between a Como and Gay person?
Well, you see, Africans are largely the same in terms of how they look physically. Do you understand my point? But some of my people have tribal marks that bear some similarity or resemblance as the Galas. and some other tribes around Nigeria up to the somewhere around Taraba that people have. They have this 1-1 mark, like most, if some Igalas also have that, but it's very common with the Basanges. They have that tribal mark, so you will know that this is a Basange person. I don't think that the Basakomos really have tribal marks. I have not taken note of that, but we Basanges have those kind of marks.
Talking about your tradition equally, do you allow intertribal marriage between the Basa and Komange?
Well, yes, of course. I mean, the Basakomos are like any other ethnic group in Nigeria. So intertribal marriage is not exclusive to Basakomos. Do you understand my point? Basange people are known to, they are good husbands and good wives. Do you get my point? So people troop in from every part of Kogi State and Nigeria to want to marry a Basange woman because from the word go, you are groomed to be a good wife. And from the word go, the boy is groomed to be a good husband. You take charge of the situation. So the Basanges marry other tribes. They marry Galas, they marry Basakomos, they marry Igbos, they marry Hausas, they marry. So intertribal marriage occurs in my place. We don't discriminate.
Culturally, tell us a little about your do's and don'ts, maybe taboos, maybe like one or two things.
Okay, there is what they call Bolachi. Bolachi means that when a woman is married and unfortunately loses her husband, somebody from the husband's family can marry that same woman so that the bloodline remains. That is called Bolachi. Now, it is a taboo in Basaland that I'm married to a woman and then my own brother marries the younger sister of that woman. Biologically, there is no relationship, no blood ties. But once you are married to someone, you adopt the whole of that tribe as your own family too. So it is abominable that you marry a woman and marry the sister of that woman. Then immorality is highly, highly frowned at in Basaland. So you cannot have issues of stealing, issues of malice. These things are frowned at. Of course, you can't totally eliminate it, but you will know that the system of that community, the system of that ethnic group frowns at it. Betrayal is not what you find around Basa people. They don't betray. And then you cannot, a Basa man is not easily proud or arrogant. He's raised to be humble, to be simple. In fact, a Basa man cannot greet an elderly person and not go down on all fours. He must be on his knees. This is the value internalized in us, value of humility, value of respect, value of sincerity, value of being trustworthy. These values are internalized in you as you are growing up. Now, there's what they call Azad Zukuti. Kuti Jiju, I don't know how to put it in English now, but as a male child is growing up, there are um, there are certain rites that are being performed to push you into adulthood. Part of the condition of this right is that as a man you should not gossip. Gossip to a Basa man is um, almost as abominable as murder. A Basange man does not gossip. You can accuse him of anything, but it is not gossip. A Basange man will not cheat you necessarily. And then he has this pride in him that he doesn't easily come to beg you for favors. It's very difficult for a Basa man to adjust his protocols because he needs to benefit something from you and beg you. No, they call it ateku. The average Basa man, I don't know how it is, but even if a Basa man is born in America, there is a teku inside him, which makes him not to easily want to come and kowtow to you just for pecuniary benefit. In fact, if you don't know how to help a Basa man, he will tell you that no, no, leave it. You have not done it so respectfully. He will leave you, no matter his material condition. So these are values internalized in us by our forebearers.
Finally, tell us about your music and folklores.
Okay. Our music is largely dominated by um, religious songs, either in Islam or in Christianity. But they are fashioned around the way the Nupe people sing their songs, have their music. They are fashioned around it. You get my point. But each music, I mean, the music at every opportunity says something. It's either praise singing somebody or making allusion to chastity, to morality, to sincerity, and calling on the gods to bless the land and make the land fruitful.
Thank you very much for being with us on this program. But one more thing that I would want to take, it should have been an addendum, but let me just take that finally. Like, I want to take an example from the Idoma and the Ogugu people of Igala land. That a woman that cheats, a married woman that sleeps with another man, dies instantly unless she confesses it. Do you have any specific penalty for such crime within your culture? If a married woman go to sleep with another man,
You
penalty
could
for
hear
that.
me saying something about chastity. I mentioned the word chastity. I mentioned the word morality, high dose of morality. All these are encapsulated inside morality and chastity. We may not have a draconic system of where the woman dies instantly, like you say the Olama Boros or so. I
And some
don't,
part of Idoma.
and some part of Idoma. I don't know if we have that kind of draconic style, but the environment, the system, the society, the community frowns at it. Frowns at it is a grave offense.
Thank you.
And I must add that you can be stigmatized when that kind of thing occur. Stigmatization means that even your family, even your children's children will be pointed at that, oh, the grandmother did this, the grandfather did this. So that feeling, I mean, limits you and does not allow you to be outlandish about immorality. So we frown at it. But that draconic dying instantly is not what I know about Bassa people. Not because they tolerate it, but this is just it. This, in fact, it's such a way that you can hardly hear of these cases in Basala. So maybe this offense is prevalent in Olamaboro and Ogugu place. That is why they have to go this extra mile to make the penalty, as you have told me.
All right. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being with us on the program African
Thank you,
People.
thank you,
And we hope to have you again, even when we are aware that your schedule is a very tight one. We hope to have you again on this program and maybe also on another of our program, Political Panorama, as time permits. It's a pleasure having
thank
you.
you
You
for
are
having
welcome.
me.
Mete negbi balio memele me wakalo tubo ibo. You are TV, you are TV. Menawa, you are TV. Menawa kalo ina bali ogeta. Yoguba I eyola ukola etete. Menawa kalo tubo ibo. You are TV, Menawa, you are TV. Ibo mi kala, you are TV. Menawa, you are TV. You are TV. Ibo mi kala. Edunyi medododa. Menawa, you are TV. Adukola pogo. Ukole ki wanugo. Ekumene jumeli. Bakumene timebo. Menawa kalo tubo. You are TV. Selemabo igala. Nebukolo jamalia. Ukole iogu. Mayuche iogu.
You are TV. Amadou Kole Yopogo.